You already know that feeling. That Sunday night dread sitting heavy in your chest, staring at your bank account, doing that mental math that never quite works out. Rent is due, the car needs something, and you just spend another week trading every hour of your life for a paycheck that disappears before you even feel it land. That is not a you problem, that is a system problem. And today, we are going to talk about how to actually break out of it, because here is what nobody tells you when you are grinding away in that cycle. Time is the one thing you cannot make more of. Money you can multiply, time you cannot. And right now, most people are selling the one thing they cannot replace, their hours, in exchange for the one thing that could actually be multiplied with the right strategy. Passive income is not a fantasy. It is not something reserved for people born into the right zip code or handed the right connections. It is a skill. And like any skill, once you understand the fundamentals, you can start building it today. Not someday. Not when you have more time or more money. Today. Now, before we go any deeper, I want you to know that we have put together some incredibly powerful related programs linked right down below in this video description. These are resources that go far beyond what we can cover in a single video. A lot of people scroll past things like that. Most of them are still complaining about money 2 years from now. The ones who do not scroll past them are the ones who actually change their financial reality. Just something to keep in mind. Let us start with the truth about where most people are right now. You wake up, you go to work, you come home exhausted, maybe you scroll for an hour to decompress because your brain is fried. You sleep, you repeat, and somewhere in the back of your mind, there is this quiet voice that keeps asking, is this it? Is this seriously my life? That voice is not anxiety. That voice is intelligence. It is your own mind recognizing that something is fundamentally off about trading all of your energy for just enough money to stay afloat. Here is a number that should stop you cold. The average person works over 90,000 hours in their lifetime. 90,000 hours. And the majority of people reach the end of that and still do not have financial freedom. That is not a coincidence. That is what happens when your income is entirely tied to your presence. The moment you stop showing up, the income stops too. That is the definition of financial fragility. Now here is where the pattern breaks. Passive income streams are income that continue flowing whether you are working or not. Whether you are asleep, whether you are at your kid's soccer game, whether you are sitting on a beach somewhere staring at the ocean. The money moves because you set up a system, not because you showed up today. And people who understand this do not just think differently about money, they live differently. Picture this. It is a Tuesday morning. While most people are stuck in traffic or sitting in a meeting that could have been an email, there are people watching small amounts of money accumulate in accounts they barely have to touch, not because they are geniuses, not because they had a huge head start, but because at some point they stopped waiting for permission and started learning how money actually works. Here is the reality check though. Passive income is not passive at the beginning. Let us be brutally honest about that, because most people quit right before things start working. And they quit because they had the wrong expectation. There is an upfront investment, and that investment is usually either time, money, or both. But here's the critical difference. You invest once and get paid repeatedly. That is fundamentally different from working and getting paid once per hour, endlessly, forever. The cost of inaction is one of the most invisible but devastating costs in personal finance. Every single month that passes where your money is not working for you is a month of compounding you will never get back. Compounding is the single most powerful force in building wealth. Albert Einstein reportedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. Whether he actually said it or not, the math does not lie. A small amount of money put into motion early grows into something extraordinary over time. The same small amount of money sitting still because you were waiting for the perfect moment stays exactly where it was. There are several major categories of passive income that real people are building right now. The first is content creation monetization. This means creating something once, a video, a guide, a piece of audio, a digital product, and having it generate income every time someone consumes it or purchases it. Someone right now is earning from something they made months ago. The work is done. The income continues. The second category is investing in assets that pay you. Dividend stocks, index funds, real estate investment trusts. These are vehicles that return money to you based on ownership, not labor. You own something that produces value. You receive a share of that value. That is how generational wealth actually gets built, not from working harder, but from owning smarter. The third category is creating systems around your existing knowledge. If you know something valuable, and you do, whether that is a professional skill, a life experience, or even a hobby that others want to learn, that knowledge can be packaged into something that educates and earns simultaneously. People pay every day to learn from other people who are slightly ahead of them. Now let us talk about who this is and is not for, because clarity matters. If you are looking for something that requires zero effort and delivers thousands of dollars overnight, this is not that. That does not exist. And anyone telling you otherwise is selling you a fantasy. This is for people who are willing to think strategically, who can commit to learning something new, who are ready to stop exchanging hours for dollars and start building something that works without them constantly feeding it. If that is you, then you are exactly the kind of person who can make this work. Not because you are special in some rare way, but because the willingness to actually do the work of setting up a system is genuinely uncommon. Most people talk. Fewer people actually move. The people who are building passive income streams right now are not smarter than you. They are not luckier. They simply started. They had the same doubts you might be feeling right now, the same uncertainty, the same worry that maybe this would not work for them specifically. And they moved anyway. That decision, that single decision to move despite uncertainty, is what separates the people telling their financial story proudly from the people still telling their financial problems quietly. Here is what changes when it starts working. It is not just the numbers in your account, though those matter enormously. It is the way you breathe differently on a Monday morning. It is the way you stop calculating whether you can afford something and start asking whether you actually want it. It is the way your relationship with time transforms when your income is no longer entirely dependent on every minute of your presence. That is not a small thing. That is the difference between surviving your life and actually designing it. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not as wide as your fear is making it look right now. That gap is bridged by information, by the right strategy, and by the decision to take one concrete step, then another, which brings us to where we are right now in this moment. You have been given a framework. You understand the why, the what, and the general how. But frameworks without implementation tools are like maps without vehicles. You can see the destination, but you are still standing still. The related programs linked down below in this video description are specifically designed to take you from understanding to actually doing. From knowing what passive income is to having real systems in motion. People who act on information when the momentum is high, right now, when you are still in the energy of this video, are the ones who look back 6 months from now completely stunned by how much their situation changed. The ones who close this tab and tell themselves they will come back to it later very rarely come back. And they know it when they say it. Do not be that person. The link is right below this video. That is your next move.